But does Facebook have a future with Mark Zuckerberg, or is it time for him to get unfriended, at least from one of his current two titles? Let's get into it with Daniel Rubino. He's executive editor of Windows Central, and Carter Ream, co-founder of M13. Carter is a Facebook shareholder. He also owns shares of Amazon and Tesla and is an investor in Lyft and Pinterest, which have yet to go public. Carter, since you're getting hit on a daily basis with all of these headlines, I want to start with you. You hear Mark Zuckerberg say, nope, that's not the plan. I'm staying. Nobody has the power to really remove him. Do you like what he said? What do you think?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time in our book, Shortcut Your Startup, this need for tech companies to kind of have a microscope in one eye and a telescope in the other. I think you need the founder vision. I think guys like Zuckerberg, guys like Bezos have shown that you need that. But I think you also need the microscope. And I think, what he'll be well served if he does is bringing in kind of operational support. He's always looking to the future, but making sure he has those around him that are looking down and making sure that as they mature, they're looking at that operational stuff. Because I think a lot of the tech companies have been slow to bring in that operational support behind the vision of the founder.
When Google's Sergey Brin and Larry Page came to that similar conclusion, they brought in Eric Schmidt, who was a more seasoned and experienced leader, and it worked out very well for the company. But Carter, do you see that really happening?
Yeah, I think, when your stock's kind of doing what it's doing, I think that will put a lot of pressure on Mark to do that. Obviously, he has control, but the market is speaking, investors are speaking, and I think at a certain point he's going to realize that not only is that in the best interest of the stock price, but the company, and also, honestly, it's going to make him a better leader and a better visionary, just like Eric was able to do that for Larry and Sergey.
Daniel, we're looking at the year-to-date chart, and, if you're a Facebook shareholder, you're not thrilled. Google's also in a bear market. Apple is in a bear market, or at least was as of earlier today. Tell us what you think about the regulatory environment that may bear down on these companies.
Yeah, the big question here is like the Honest Ads Act, which has been proposed to help rein in some of this issues with Facebook and Google as well. I'm actually a big supporter of this. I think this is one way where Zuckerberg can keep his job, or at least his presence in the company, while supporting that. It would earn a lot of goodwill, I think, back in the community and earn some trust back. They have a big issue here, which is how to earn that trust back. And with him in charge, and you talk about these lofty ideals, but with nothing concrete behind it, and actively trying to disrupt this regulation, I think there may be issues. And I'm not really a fan of regulation on tech, but I think this is kind of the bare minimum that they could actually do at this point.
Carter, you worked at Goldman Sachs, and you were on the other side looking at a lot of these companies and the leadership. John Chambers of Cisco likes to talk about the time where he talked to Jack Welch of GE at his most legendary moment, and Jack Welch said, you're a good CEO, but to become a great CEO, you have to experience something akin to a near-death experience at your company. Is this that for Mark Zuckerberg, and could he come back really much stronger?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it quite near death yet, but I think this is one of those humbling moments. I think people
close.
Forget very quickly.
He was hauled before Congress.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this was not fun for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people forget that, Facebook has not always been up and to the right. They've kind of had their lows. There was a time where people thought they had it figured out mobile. I think this is one of these moments, and I think what they've shown in the past is hopefully what they can show again, which is they can kind of rebound from this near-death experience, learn from it. They still have a lot to be thankful for and a lot of, clear competitive advantages moving forward.
Daniel, as we finish up here, what's the environment for IPOs? Carter's sitting there. He's got some stake in Lyft and Pinterest. And there are people out there who are just chomping at the bit for Uber and Airbnb to go public. Is now the atmosphere?
I think a lot of this is going to rebound right now. I think there's just a market correction. Uber and Lyft, I think, are good, solid buys. Lyft has got a lot of potential for beating revenue and, actually gaining a lot of market share. They've been doing very well compared to Uber. And I think because Uber paved the path for Lyft, and Lyft is benefiting from that. So I think it's a temporary blip. I think getting into these IPOs is okay. I'm a little hesitant on some other companies, but I think Uber and Lyft, they're both also doing some good strategies, which is not betting just on cars. The e-bike initiative, I think, is super impressive. It's a great way to increase verticals, and it will help with their market share long term, as cars probably aren't going to be the future in 20 years.
For somebody who loves to drive, because I'm from L.A. and we love to drive, right, Carter? I'm always going to hold on to that steering wheel. Great to see you both. Happy holidays. Carter Ream and Daniel Rubino. Thank you so much.